guys, this is Ruthless, and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. This is going to be another Zerg versus Zerg on the map Shakuras Plateau, and going ahead and bringing up the names here, it will be Team Area 51's Kane spawning in the top left position on Shakuras Plateau as the Teal Zerg, and his opponent for this matchup will be FieNDestiny from Team EXO. I believe it's Team EXO. Yes, it is Team EXO. He'll be spawning as a green Zerg, and honestly, that's my favorite color as Zerg, and I think that Sai really just beat that in my head that if you're ever given the opportunity to pick his color as Zerg, you might as well go green. Go green and go home, guys. But going back to the matchup at hand, this is a continuation of the series on Team Area 51's Kane in the clan war that was part of the Legion Team League, which is occurring right now. And I was able to live cast this event. I was able to co-cast this with Flatline, and we did get to see the entirety of two actual clan wars that went on. Very exciting, very interesting games that occurred. And I'm casting, I feel like, is the best of the bunch, the best of the litter, the games that really just stood out and left an impression. So I hope you guys enjoy these. And before I go any further, I do want to say a big shout out, by the way, to Team Area 51. Thank you again for inviting me to cast your guys' games with Flatline. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciated it. Do check them guys. Do check those guys out. And if you haven't seen the VODs of this live cast, you can check them out at Twitch TV/SC2 Combat. Definitely check it out. But back to the matchup at hand. It is going to be a ZVZ on Shakuras Plateau. It looks like Kane is going to go for a 15 hatch, whereas his opponent went for a 14-14. Obviously, the 14-14 is going to be slightly disadvantaged, but where he has an advantage actually is the map control. He'll have a lot faster speedlings. He'll be able to be aggressive enough to the point where he can force his opponent to make Zerglings when he should drone and just play on the defensive, really. So FieNDestiny, you know, if he decides really to do some sort of mass speedling aggression, maybe some speedling Baneling, his opponent will have to guess whether or not it's going to be a very aggressive build or if it's going to be a very passive build. So that kind of gives the advantage to FieNDestiny. It's kind of a give or take, and that's why there's something to be said about queen blocking and spine crawlers. But back to the game at hand. Looks like Kane is does about have his spawning pool done. Now the first two Zerglings are about out for FieNDestiny. He does have his queen as well as metabolic boost. And he's only making two Zerglings here so we can get up that expansion as quickly as possible. And I feel like FieNDestiny is doing a really good job here controlling his minerals and gas, whereas I'm not really sure. Okay, so Kane was waiting for those two queens, and I was able to make 4 Zerglings and start on his Ling speed, so these are two very different builds. But look at this, at the same time, we have speed on the way as well as a faster Baneling nest. So FieNDestiny is going to put on some aggression and force his opponent to make very difficult decisions. And again, in ZVZ, if you make the incorrect decision, more often than not, it can win or lose you the game. So we do have 4 Zerglings out versus 2 Zerglings. It's going to be a little bit of Zergling, you know, on Zergling micro battles. And really what you do if you have more Zerglings, you push the other your opponent's Zerglings back. And if you've seen that he went for a 14-14, you want to play more defensively. You don't want to try and push them back as far as possible, because you can easily get surrounded by reinforcing Zerglings. So now that there are more Zerglings out here on the map for Kane, he's just going to kind of poke out in here and see exactly what's going on. Both players are sort of testing the water, seeing what's going on. FieNDestiny is immediately throwing down 2 defensive Banelings at his natural. He's going to try and poke in here with these Zerglings. There is only one queen to sort of block this off, but the Zerglings are doing a nice job there trying to also be part of that wall off. And it's just a very tense moment right now for both players. The one player who's going to be aggressive, if he chooses to be aggressive at the incorrect time, he could very well lose in the long term. Just will not be able to macro up enough. He does see a lot of Zerglings now out here for Kane, and once these Banelings finish, oh, he barely avoids a Baneling hit, so really nice turnaround there for Kane, who does have a couple of Banelings of his own. They will stay on the creep, that's smart, but right now I feel like the Zerglings should be accompanying these Banelings, but he's very wary of a counterattack. These Banelings for FieNDestiny are going to get caught out in the open as well, and if you're smart, you send a couple of Zerglings. Actually, you want to send about 2 to pick off a Baneling. That's actually just to make sure they go down a lot faster. One's, you know, the most economic way of doing it, but 2 is actually a lot faster and a lot more, you know, definitely going to happen. So a couple of Zerglings and Banelings just sort of running in, it looks like there will be a decent trade here for both players. FieNDestiny is forced to throw down a Spine Crawler, and that's really what you want at this point. But the real story is going to end up being who is going to have the drone advantage here at the end. It looks like the Banelings are going to get into the drone line, and if they're able to hit this big swath of drones, he actually only kills off about 4 or 5 drones there. So not the biggest pickup. He's able to kill even one more, and that's really all you can hope for. So the income tab is 29 now in favor of Kane to the 24 of FieNDestiny. But at the same time, I feel like Kane is being a little bit timid here, and that's because he lost all of his Zerglings in that attack. So he's not going to be able to drone up quite nearly as much because FieNDestiny was able to keep his a handful of his Zerglings alive. He was able to wait for that next push if it should come. He was able to drone up a little bit more safely and wait for those Banelings to come out. So FieNDestiny is actually going for a fast layer here, getting all 4 gas. We can expect Mutas or Infestors. Either or could work. And the Zerglings for FieNDestiny are going to get in the base of Kane, and they're going to scout around and see exactly what's going on. He knows exactly what his opponents are doing. And it's going to be a very similar build here for both players. So it looks like these Zerglings will finally get taken out, but meanwhile, a couple of Zerglings here actually picking away at the extractors. So they should try to be picking away at drones, actually. Will finally get picked off, but the layer timing here for FieNDestiny is really good. If he's on top of his macro, once that completes, it should immediately go to Spire. So I feel like FieNDestiny actually has an advantage in that, yeah, he's going to go throw down his Spire. I feel like he does have an advantage where he has that map control, that map presence, and all he has to do is not botch this defense, and he's totally going to have it. So the Zerglings can't really run in here with the Queen and a Spine. That Spine's just going to be able to do way too much damage to these Banelings as long as they're on move command or move patrol. The Zerglings are able to run up into the main base, and at this point in time, they should just really be running around and trying to scout. Baneling going off. Oh, actually able to kill off all the Zerglings, and actually Kane does not see. He does not see the Spire, so that could mean a lot. And his Spire for FieNDestiny is a lot faster. So once that Spire does go down, you can go expect FieNDestiny to immediately go for a third base. You see, Kane is immediately making overseer here, making sure there's no burrow shenanigans. There's not going to be any sort of roach burrow taunting, I suppose, or maybe just to go. No, he's actually going to use this to scout, and that's not a bad choice at all. If you can't scout the third of your opponent, you might as well just make an overseer and go and scout that way. They do have that armor bonus. So the Zerglings going to be able to run in here. The Zerglings were a little bit out of position, and they should be able to run up in here and cause some sort of mayhem. Now, they're not picking the best target. I feel like they're actually picking the Queen. That's not a bad pick off at all, actually. But picking off the Queen, they need to actually scout the Spire, and they need to maybe pick off a couple of drones. But keeping your opponent in his base for as long as possible is really what you want to do here until your Spire gets up. So we do have an Evolution Chamber on the way for Kane. And the Spire is about to pop as well. The Queen's doing a pretty good job injecting larva, but it's just going to be really hard here for Kane to take his third. I mean, I feel like there's going to be a lot of Zerglings here for FieNDestiny. There's going to be a lot faster Mutas. And once those Mutas are able to consolidate and just get a big clump, they can just sort of run and do whatever they want. Now, because this is actually a very big point right here, the Mutas for FieNDestiny are going to have +1, and it's going to be much faster, actually, than the +1 Carapace for his opponent, Kane. So this could be a sort of... This could be a very scary period right here. So what Kane wants to make sure he does is he has all of his Mutalisks in position to defend this natural and third. Keeping your Mutas position right here would actually help out a lot. And in fact, we do see Kane kind of run into Baneling here to try and fend off any sort of Zergling run-bys, but that will immediately get picked off. And now this third's going to be under a lot of duress. So these, it looks like it's Muta on Muta. It is 11 to 11. It was actually 12 to 11. So the Muta advantage actually goes to FieNDestiny, who's going to drive back these Muta numbers. More Mutas coming in for each player, Zergling battles going on at the same time. There is no way to actually tell what's going on, guys. I can't give that much insight because FieNDestiny was able to drive away the Mutalisks of his opponent. He's able to pick off the rest of those Zerglings, and now the Zerglings can happily run away and pick away at this hatchery. And I feel like this hatchery is just going to go down. There's just no way he can save it. There's not enough Mutalisks here. Not enough Zerglings here as well. And these Mutalisks are going to arrive, but it just will not be in time. He's trying to stall for as long as he can, but with that additional DPS of the Zerglings, this hatchery will go down very handily. Now, meanwhile, FieNDestiny did a great job setting up defense at his third base, and was able to get up his gas quite well as well. And it looks like Kane wants to set up a third here. This is sort of a last-ditch effort. He already lost his third. He's going to be a bit behind. He will have 3 hatcheries here, so he'll be able to keep up the production of his opponent. But at the same time, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. So, the +1 attack for FieNDestiny has completed. The +1 armor for Kane has completed. But now it looks like he's going to go against +1 mutas against 0-1 mutas. And that +1 armor is now getting research for Kane, but he just does not have enough. And actually that hatchery got picked off, was not cancelled. And I feel like Kane is just not able to spend all the minerals he wants. He's sort of frantically trying to make things work out here. These drones are not mining. Things are just not going well at all for Kane. He's able to have a very similar production right here. But I mean, once he sees what exactly his opponent has, I mean, FieNDestiny's just going to run in here and kill off everything. So, Zergling and Baneling micro battles, big hit by the Banelings. That was actually the game changer right there. If there was any sort of semblance of any way that Kane could have come back, it would have been by having the Ling advantage, but just not going to happen this time around. Kane is going to give the GG well played, and FieNDestiny just showing a really nice Spire timing. I was very impressed with that, and that +1 actually worked out to his advantage in killing off that hatchery as well. So, obviously we're going to go here for Zergs. In an ideal world, you want to go for that +1 armor first, and then maybe the +1 attack. But that's an ideal situation when you're trying to grab your third and you can't quite defend it the way you want. You don't have spore crawlers in places or queens. It's just really difficult to defend. So really well played there by FieNDestiny, hitting a very nasty timing. And that'll do it for this cast, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, I've been your host, Kane Ruthless. Be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, favorite, tell your friends about me, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.